Hello, my name is Stephanie Ackerton Michaels, and welcome to the Univah Film Engine. This is going to be the first of our practical examples where we show you how to use rReligionVFX to make realistic effects that you would actually see in Hollywood. In this video, we're going to recreate the effect from the Terminator 2. So let's just play this very quickly. So what you see happening here is this guy is going to very casually walk through these prison bars like it's no big deal. And this is a very cool effect, and it's actually really easy to do. Well, we've made it easy to do. In Univah Pro, it's very easy to do. So what you're going to see is that as he approaches the bars, his flesh sort kind of melts or deforms into the bars, and there's sort of like a union with the bars, okay? And you can see how this is happening right here. His skin is kind of blending with the bars, and you can see his flesh is kind of stuck to the bar. There's like a blending adhesive effect. Especially here, that's a really good example of how you could see his flesh really adhesive, blending into the bar. So let's go ahead and recreate this effect in Univah Pro. Let's get started. All right. So here we are in Univah Pro. I'm going to start with a fresh scene. And we're going to be using rReligionVFX for this. Okay. And let's go ahead and create a religion primitive. So I'm going to create a sphere, and I'm going to create a cube, and that's what we're going to do. Now, these are religion primitives, okay? We're going to be using a technique called sign distance field to recreate this effect from the Terminator. All right, now let's go to the attribute editor. In the attribute editor, you're going to see something called operators and modifiers. Expand that. When you expand this, you're going to see that there's a red dot next to our sphere. This red dot indicates that this sphere is the driver for this effect. So whatever operators you choose to add, it is the sphere that's really going to drive that effect, okay? So if you were to add the operator here, for instance, if you were to add the operator here and hit apply, if you don't see anything happen, it's because the cube is not the driver for this effect, okay? So you have to add it to wherever the red dot is, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna just sort of make a, like a metal bar. So let's kind of scale this down, or actually, I'll leave it like that for now, just so you can kind of see what it does. Okay, so we have our sphere, and we have this cube, and this is the distance between them. We can kind of put a little distance right there. Okay, I'm gonna make it a little bigger, actually. There we go. All right, now we have no operators added to this. We also have some things that we can do here, such as tone mapping, and we can play with the lights. Okay, so let's just focus on the operator that we're going to have to add in order to simulate this effect of blending. So we're going to use something called smooth union. So let's add a smooth union to the sphere, to the master, to the driver, and we're going to hit apply. Now, when you click apply, you may not see anything, but that's because the blend strength is 0. So we're going to just drag this, and that's it. Okay, so now we have a sphere that is blending into this cube. Okay, and we can also increase the operation offset. And the operation offset, what this means is that it's the distance. So at this distance, you can see that the sphere is already starting to pull towards the cube. And as you increase that distance, that offset, then the blend effect will take a hold of these two objects at a greater distance, okay? All right, so let's kind of just bring that back down. And we can enable and disable this effect very quickly, okay? So this is really cool because on the fly, while you're animating, you can just decide not to show that effect, okay? All right, so now that we have this, we're still not getting the Terminator effect. So let's go to PBR. Let's go to Styles, and we're going to switch to physically based rendering. Now, in physically based rendering, we can do all the things that we typically can do, which is we can upload a new IBL to help light the scene. We can show and hide. We can do all those things. The first thing that I'm going to do before I even add a light, I'm going to increase the IBL intensity to about 1. Okay, great. And then I'm going to, since this is a very metallic type of scene, these bars are metallic, I'm going to make everything metallic for now. Of course, I can choose to make just this metallic and then this can be non-metallic. Okay, because we're going to use this ball, we're going to use the sphere to simulate, the person. So we're going to pretend this ball is the person and these are the metal bars. Okay. Okay, so we've got some metallic going on. And let's maybe push the roughness down a bit. And as we do that, you can get more of a metallic effect. And you can even make this wobble. So if you want to make a wobble effect as you exit, that's something that you can do with operators as well. You can add a noise to this. Okay, so we've got some metallic going on, and you can play with this to kind of see what kind of effect you want to create. But as you can see, we're already getting a really nice metallic bending effect, and we can increase this effect to make it even more so dramatic. And of course, we can scale this sphere up and down, and it's going to update that effect in real time. So as you can see, just in a matter of seconds, we have basically created the foundation for this blending effect. Okay, now what we can do is, like I said, we do have a lot of options. So if we are trying to make just this metallic, which basically is the case, so let's select the sphere. Let me show you how you would do that. Select the sphere, and we're going to go to per object styling. And we're going to say this should not be metallic. Okay, because this robot guy, even though he does have the ability to become a metal person, in this scene, he's not metallic. So we're going to just not make him metallic. So this ball is now non-metallic. So now you have this nice non-metallic sphere. And we can decrease the roughness or increase the roughness rather, so that it's more like skin and less okay, so now we have this is metallic and this is not. Okay, so that's more so what you're seeing here with the person. Okay, so you definitely can do that. But again, for this example, I think I'm gonna keep most of it metallic, just different values. All right, so let's click the cube and I'm gonna just make it look like a bar, kind of like a, yeah. So, and then I'm gonna make another cube. Not a regular cube. It has to be a religion cube. So let's add another cube. And you can see it's already blending, taking on some of those properties. Okay, so let's push this back. And we're going to try to make something that looks like prison bars. Okay, so we have two prison bars. They're kind of far apart. I think in the movie, yeah. So we're just going to approximate here, maybe something like that. Should I add one more? Yeah, let's add one more bar. So let's go to box, add one more box, and I want to show you what's happening in our UI. So let's go to the operator's UI. So now you see these primitives here, but it's still the sphere that's driving this effect for all of them. Okay, so let's go ahead and scale this up. And okay, so at this point, you're going to see some interesting SDF behavior. And let's go ahead and just make this look like metallic prison bars. Okay. All right. So, you get the point. Let's do this fairly quickly. Right now, the blending is out of control because we have this operation offset really high. So even at this distance, it's already starting to blend. Uh, so let's say, for instance, we had something like another bar. Let's add another bar. And this one, just like the prison bars, is going to go across. So you wouldn't want these blending with each other per se, right? So you have you have the bar that's going across and you have these. Okay. And so the guy is now walking through these bars and it's bending drastically. So the bending, we can just say, hey, we don't need an effect that is that drastic. Let's boost this up. Okay. So now as he walks through the bars, it's up to you how drastic you want to make this, but now it's bending. But it's like I said, it's a really strong blend, so maybe even less because it's really subtle in the movie. In the movie, it's not in film production, less is more, to be honest. So it's like it's not as dramatic as we're making it. It's more so like on this level. Yeah. So I'm gonna go back to the per object styling for this particular one. Let's do that. So let's see. And if I change the color for this, so you can really see kind of how this is affecting the scene, we can go back here into operators and modifiers, and we can increase that color blending. So now you see the colors kind of acting like a global illumination, and it's really spreading out. So that color blending is going to be affecting more of the environment versus if you lower it, then it's just here. Okay, so that's how you can have an effect very similar to the Terminator, and you can control that to animate this. It's really easy. Just go to the timeline and animate it. Okay, there you go. So that's how you do smooth union. And again, we can change the shape of this. We can make it uh, as dramatic as we want. But for the film, if you're going for the Terminator effect, it's not as dramatic, but this is how you would walk through metal bars. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.